Today is an exciting day because we're going to finally start upgrading our 325ci convertible that we got. And just for the record, it has now turned over 207,000 miles. So I've put about 1,500 miles on the vehicle and it's still running great. But we're going to make it even more fun to drive by first and foremost installing this BMW M Sport steering wheel. Now this came all the way from the good folks in Lithuania, found it on eBay. It's a refurbished wheel. It cost me a little over $400, but given how inexpensively I picked the car up for, I figured I'd splurge and put this very cool wheel in it. And I've watched the YouTube videos. It looks pretty straightforward, so now we're going to give it a try. Wish us luck. But the wheel isn't the only thing going in. We're also going to put in a new coin holder and center pocket and a new set of cup holders. These were, I think, less than $30 each. Got them on eBay too. And this one was maybe $45. And it's the underarm storage pocket, which is really worn out and kind of disintegrating in the car. So we'll put in these three kind of center console area things, and we will put in, more excitingly, the brand new M Sport steering wheel, or at least the refurbished wheel all the way from Lithuania. That's the goal for today. Let's hope it goes well. The first rule when you're replacing a steering wheel is to disconnect the battery, because airbags are in steering wheels. It's really bad when airbags go off when they're not supposed to. So looking at the over-engineered process that BMW has put together to access the wheel, we have to take that cover off, and now we have to disconnect this right here. All right, this is probably the trickiest part of this replacement because you can't really know exactly what you're doing. You just know that there's a hole in the side of the steering wheel, back side of the steering wheel, that you have to punch into with the screwdriver and push in until you feel a spring release that releases the airbag. And there's two of these, one on each side. I think I just found it. Yeah, there's the spring. So now I've pushed in, yep, and look at that. There's the airbag coming out largely on that side. Now, can I find the second side just as easily? Let's see. Ooh, found it. Look at that. And I probably didn't stab too many critical things in the process. All right, so now that we're here, we have to undo these connectors. And that releases that one. And well, this one's got a similar design, so let's give it a try. Oh, look at that. And they're free. Airbag is out. So next we have to pull off the right connector here, and there's a drop clip here you push down on, and it should release. And it did. And then there's this one that apparently just pulls out. And it did. Okay, this is a 16 millimeter bolt that is in the center of the wheel. And I'm going to try to turn it without hurting anything. Oh, and someone was really effective at making sure this wheel never came off while you were driving. That's great. Steering wheel is locked, so it should be okay to just push on it. Oh. Huh. I have a way to increase my torque, and I think I'm going to go get it. It's a jack, small jack handle that I can put on the end of this and get more torque. So we're going to go grab that. I've always got this trick I can use when I need more torque. It's a jack. It's a jack lever that also happens to fit over my ratchet thing here. And that guy said something about levers and moving the planet or something. So here we go. Well, something moved. Let's see what it was. It was the bolt. So, when they talk about breaking a bolt loose, you just got to see it and hear it. And here we go. There's that bolt. That one was really in there. And that's good, because nobody wants a wheel to fall off while you're driving. According to the YouTube videos, this thing will just kind of come off. And apparently, they're right. Next step, reassembly. There's a channel that's a little wider, as I've seen in the videos, and here it is. And there's a matching, slightly wider channel there to make sure you don't get this wrong. So it looks like it wants to go on about like this. And that's about the angle the wheel was at before. There's these two other little points down in here that want to match up, and they seem to have matched up happily. Now, this one goes here. And this one goes here. All right. And the 16 millimeter. And I may not get quite as tight as it was from the factory, but we'll get close. Okay, I'm not gonna go nuts on that bolt. I mean, it's really not gonna come out at that level of tightness. So that is where we're gonna stop. Okay. Now we've got to put the airbag back in. So now we put this back here. We assume that those wires aren't going to get bound up somehow in a problematic way. Look at that. There's an M Sport wheel on my 325ci convertible that wasn't there 20 minutes ago. We'll put the battery back in and we'll fire it all up, because in theory all these steering wheel controls should work since we put in all the right connectors. So compared to the steering wheel, these cup holders are pretty easy to replace. It involves all of pulling. Same for the center storage pocket, pulling, and conversely pushing, and you might have already guessed, pushing. This is the last piece that goes in, and it's a replacement for this piece, which is probably the worst piece in this car. I mean, this is like really bad. It's just decomposing, and it almost feels like this should be as easy to put in as those other ones. Look, it's just the liner. It's not like there's not a screw anywhere related to this piece. It literally just snaps in, and I know how to pull this all apart, but I almost feel like it doesn't seem like it's necessary. You just literally push this down and it would snap in. But getting this old one out, in case you can't see it, look, I mean, you can't just put a screwdriver and push. I'm using my fingernails and it's like coming apart. The equivalent of this piece here is literally decomposing, and it's just falling apart if you try to like wedge it out. So I don't know, maybe we can just get a screwdriver and just kind of make this thing decompose, you know, rip it apart piece by piece until it can be removed, and then pull it out and put in the new one. Hopefully the new one snaps in. But I guess after 20 years and a lot of heat cycling, being in this car when it gets hot and all, this is what happened to this piece, which I've never really seen before on any other type of vehicle. I was digging away at this thing thinking I was getting somewhere, and then I realized there was still a whole nother layer below. And I finally got to that layer below and confirmed what I thought, which was, yeah, there was a whole big mess of decomposing liner here, but I was able to get it all in one piece, as you can see. Yay! And I think I'm going to, because of how much of a mess this was making, get a vacuum cleaner and just get all this crap out of here before I put the new one in that's right there. But it will be able to just pop right in. I will not have to tear anything else apart. Probably the most challenging part of this whole day of upgrading things, besides, you know, the wheel was easy and the center console elements were easy, but getting the old version of this out, which I've already thrown away because it was decomposing and so gross, was tough. I'm going to vacuum here before I put the new one in. That's a pretty good cleanup of the what was left of the old center console storage pocket, and now we just have to pop in the new one. Great, got to get this one too. There we go. And now, as you can see, I can put things in the center console armrest area, under the storage underneath the armrest, and it won't be gross, which was the goal. So there we are. Center armrest storage, center pocket, cup holders, and most importantly, M Sport steering wheel. So we're all upgraded for today. Like I said, I think the most time-consuming and gross part was getting this center console storage properly replaced. Everything else, good to go.